Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending our third JESPA Town Hall event. We are the union representing a proud group of support professionals who are critical to the successful running of our Jefferson County School District. My name is Laura Center. I am a library paraprofessional and the president of the Jefferson County Education Support Professionals Association. I don't have to tell you that we are living through some very difficult and uncertain times. Many of us have lost our supplemental jobs due to the COVID crisis. Those extra jobs that we have are critical to making ends meet because our wages at Jeffco Public Schools are simply not enough to cover the cost of living in this expensive Denver metro region. Your JESPA bargaining team is still in the process of negotiating financials with the district, and we know that we're running out of time to get pay increases settled as in-person learning starts on September 8th, and remote learning starts in just 2 weeks. What we're hearing from our members is that they are worried about the many unknowns right now. Will I get laid off? Why am I not hearing anything about coming back to work? Will I have the same number of hours I had last year so that I don't lose my health benefits and I can feed my family? This is all very real and scary stuff that many employees are feeling right now. But what is really frustrating is that amid all of this uncertainty, the district continues to protect administrator pay. The union has been watching this situation very closely, and just to refresh your memory, here are a few items we have uncovered through the process of exercising our right to see the district's financial information. First one, the number of administrators making over $100,000 per year has more than doubled in the last 4 years. Most building level administrators do not make $100,000 a year or more. So I want to be really clear on this point. We're not talking about our dear principals that run our schools, supporting students, staff, and teachers. These are central administrators making more than $100,000 a year. Over the last 3 years, central administrators, so the folks working at the Ed Center, have enjoyed pay increases of 63% since 2017, whereas essential worker salaries have increased only 17%. Considering the increased cost of living and healthcare for most essential workers, ESPs make less money in real dollars now than they did 3 years ago. To be clear, for a worker who makes $20,000 per year, a 17% increase is $3,400 more dollars in pay, but that's spread out over 3 years. The JESPA bargaining team has proposed a cost of living adjustment that could be completely paid for with a 10% cut to central administrator pay, which would create a savings of $7.2 million in our district. So let me repeat that. The JESPA bargaining team has proposed a cost of living adjustment that would be passed on to support staff who desperately need it, that would be completely paid for with a 10% cut to central administration pay. Is JESPA asking for too much for our employees that we represent? Is there really no money to honor the yearly pay increases that employees desperately need in order to keep their heads above water? We want to continue serving our dear Jefferson County Public Schools. We love our jobs and our students. We recognize that amid this coronavirus pandemic, that our students will soon be back in our buildings and they will need more support, not less. Tonight, you will hear from several of your ESP colleagues who will share their personal stories and hopefully put a face to this crisis we are having in Jeffco Public Schools and beyond. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our first speaker, Mike Knopf, and I will let him tell you about himself. Mike?
Hello, my name is Michael Knopf, and I am a facility manager in Evergreen, Colorado. I've worked for Jefferson Public Schools for 5 years now. I came to work for the public school district because I come from a family of educators, and I was told how great it was to work for the school district and be able to provide for my family and become what I've never had growing up, which is a father. Since my employment, I have realized that what I was told and encouraged was completely false. Since my employment, my life has only gotten harder working for this district, and my paychecks have remained stagnant. Despite the fact that I work full-time for Jeffco Public Schools, and so does my wife, I have had to take on 2 other jobs, including her, in order to put food on our table and keep a roof over my family's heads. Even though we work all these jobs, it still doesn't cover the basic needs. We do not live an extravagant life. We are in turn at the poverty level. We currently attend food banks and we receive public assistance. It's embarrassing and degrading to have to go to food banks with your children to get food. But what makes it worse is seeing parents and their kids that you know that are volunteering at the food banks. The questions then start coming in from the parents, and then my kids are getting questions from their friends about why we are there. It is extremely hard and embarrassing that we both work for the district, and it is supposed to have this reputation of being a great place to work and form a career. However, that is the farthest thing from the truth. I have a bachelor's degree in business management and a culinary arts degree. My wife has a culinary arts degree as well. With Jeffco being the 2nd largest district in the state, I am appalled by what the actual truth is about the district and how they value their employees. Please do better.
Hi, I'm Terry Fontenot. I never thought I'd be saying that I'm thankful for Zoom, but it has enabled me to be with you today. You know, I'm currently out of state visiting my mom, and even though she's a vibrant, healthy 82-year-old woman, once school starts, I'm not sure when I'll be able to see her again. I'm a parent of a Jeffco High School student. He attends one of the top-rated high schools here in our school district. You know, I am vested in our son's school and our community. And because I work in Jeffco, I am also an internal stakeholder of the school district. As Mike just said, Jeffco is the 2nd largest school district in the state of Colorado. And Jeffco employs many people of color, women, a wide range of ages, from students still in high school through retirement age. And the majority of these diverse workers tend to be in lower paid jobs, some starting as little as over $12 an hour, while the whiter, more male, higher paid workers tend to be in administration with a top salary of $265,000 a year. This coming school year marks my 4th year to working in Jeffco as a paraprofessional, and my wages are at the lower end of that spectrum. The title of paraprofessional may not resonate with you who are outside of the classroom. You probably refer to us as aides, but we are the ones who interact most directly with the students. Quite often, we spend more one-on-one time with those kids than their teachers are able to do. We assist them in the classrooms. We help them with their math and reading skills. We make sure they're safe on the playgrounds. We open their milk cartons at lunch. We make sure their coats are zipped. We wipe their tears, we wipe their noses, we bandage their knees, we give them hugs, we give them encouragement, we run the health rooms, and come September, we will be the frontline workers for our schools. Paraprofessionals like me are only part of the family that makes up the support staff in Jefferson County School District. There are also secretaries, food service workers, maintenance employees, custodians, security personnel, and bus drivers. And if you go to Jeffco's website, you will find that their value statement has a lot of "we are family" talk. The district says they are committed to integrity, valuing people, exemplary performance, but 3 of those guiding principles really stands out for me. The first being integrity. The district says that they want to keep the focus on students in the face of difficult conditions or circumstances. And while it's true that a monumental amount of thought and work has gone into the Restart Plan, district administration is choosing to protect millions of dollars at the top of the organization while wanting to leave the door open to laying off essential workers like me in the middle of a pandemic. And not only that, they included themselves and licensed staff in the projected costs of a proposal for pay increases that were meant for the lowest paid workers in the district. And this was done purely to create misinformation about JESPA's proposal, and it is absolutely not a fair way to bargain. The second principle that I take issue with is valuing people. The district says that the people connected to Jeffco Public Schools matter to us above all else. But do we? Not only are we being vaguely threatened with the loss of our jobs during a pandemic, our exposure to COVID-19 and or even becoming infected with the virus when responding and caring for staff, while at school isn't even considered an on-the-job injury or an illness suffered in the course of our employment. I'm a health aide, and I will be responsible for manning the medical safe room where staff and students go when they present COVID-like symptoms. I anticipate having to quarantine more than once during the course of this school year. I will have no paid sick leave after my first round of quarantine. And make no mistake, there are many, many support staff members that are in the same boat as I. Jeffco also says that they value exemplary performance. Jeffco Public Schools has a tradition of quality and working to do right by its students and community, and currently the Restart Plan underutilizes the available workforce, like food service workers, bus drivers, and paraprofessionals, in favor of threatening to freeze our salaries and lay off essential workers. Can you imagine school with even less support than it currently has? Less custodians, less bus drivers, less food service, less education support? Values are important, and so are actions. JESPA is currently bargaining for a reasonable pay increase and worker protections during a very stressful time. We are not advocating for being paid for not working. We want to work. We miss those kids when we're not with them, and we want to support them during periods of remote learning. We are open to innovative innovative ways of having our talents utilized, and we also want to stay healthy. Yet the district treats us as disposable. Is this the way that a family should be treated?
My name is Jennifer Munoz. I am a secretary at JESPA Leader, second vice president at JSOB, and most recently added to the list, a full-time college student. The most important hat I wear, and the one I enjoy wearing the most, is the mom hat. Now, what I unfortunately have to add to that list is something I don't enjoy at all, because it takes me away from the people I love and the things that matter. And that is that I am also one of the hundreds of ESPs working multiple jobs. Nothing brings me greater joy than ending my workday and coming home to my child and bonding over activities we both enjoy doing. And nothing makes me feel worse than my child making plans for a fun activity and me having to tell her we can't because I have to work my second job. The look of disappointment in my child's eyes is painful. And this is the heartbreaking look a lot of us parents working multiple jobs have to see regularly. I wish I had more energy to dedicate to my child, but some days all my energy is spent at 2 jobs. Why must so many of us have to work multiple jobs? Why is it that so many of us play important roles in the lives of students yet don't get compensated fairly? Why do we have ESPs making under $25,000 a year? Why are we told that we are appreciated when those words are not followed with actions? And you may be asking yourself, what are those actions? For one, we could get livable wages, and we shouldn't have to ask for this. Paying people enough to survive on one job is not only the right and equitable thing to do, but it should be a priority to the district. The cost of everything is going up and our wages are staying the same, and the numbers simply don't add up. Denver Public Schools recently stated that they valued equity, and so they wanted to minimize impacts of the pandemic on the lowest paid workers. Then they followed up that statement by giving their workers a 3% increase in pay, and they prevented layoffs for those essential workers. And I'm disappointed that Jeffco hasn't done the same for us. Now, you may be thinking, maybe you should go work for DPS. And my response to that is absolutely not. I shouldn't have to, because I enjoy my job, because I enjoy the work that is done in my office. And if you're thinking I should go work for DPS, we need to sit down and reevaluate priorities. I would like to take this opportunity to challenge Jeffco to show they truly value us, and not just with words, but with their actions. I challenge Jeffco to bring a fair compensation proposal to the table. I challenge them to make this financial proposal about the people at the low end of the wage scale, as DPS has done. Rise to the challenge, Jeffco, and make it about ESPs and teachers. It can be very easy to decide that we don't need steps or a cost of living adjustment when the people making those decisions are making $100,000 a year and up to $275,000 a year. It's easy to make those decisions when you're not going to multiple jobs and when you're not missing out on family time. Jeffco's mission is to provide a quality education that prepares all children for a successful future. And how are we supposed to do that when we lose dedicated employees to other better paying school districts and no one is applying for jobs at Jeffco because we are facing potential layoffs and furloughs? With the decision of no steps and no cost of living adjustments, I'm trying to figure out how I can fit in a third job in my already busy life as a full-time mom and full-time college student with a full-time job and a weekend part-time job. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Monty Hollander. I'm a school bus driver for Jefferson County and a proud member of the Jefferson Education Support Professionals Association bargaining team. And one small thing about my personal life, I am the proud father of a 15-year-old girl from China, from Sichuan province, China. And I am lucky as all can be that she adopted me as her dad. I have a story to tell with a few comments that reflect the beliefs and thoughts of over 400 bus drivers and assistants, as well as our fellow ESPs. A few of the questions I've been hit with is, why does the district management show us no respect? Why do they treat us with no value? The ESPs are the backbone of all school operations. There are over 250 positions, from the bus drivers to the assistant bus drivers to the custodians, food service, secretaries, maintenance, security, paraprofessionals, and educators, and many more. We are not valued equitably. The district offered essential workers zero money in their financial proposal. We need to be compensated with a livable wage. Many ESPs have 2 or 3 jobs to support their families. In the last 3 negotiation meetings, Jeffco offered us $0 regarding pay, cost of living, and hazard pay. That is unacceptable, frankly speaking, insulting, and shows no respect for who we are, and shows no, especially when workers are taking on greater risks during COVID. I understand how complex and difficult this puzzle is to make it work. But I'm calling on the district to show us that we are worth a livable wage and respect. With respect to negotiations, the district needs to stop creating loopholes in our contract to lay off workers. That's right, lay off workers. Stop it already. Frankly speaking, this is bad faith bargaining. When it comes to negotiations, it's not about winning or losing, it's about compromising. And it's important for you all to know that the JESPA and JCEA bargaining team, that the teams requested to bargain together, and the district manager said no, 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 and with no explanation. Yet they waste our time at the table by bringing us a regressive proposal, a non-proposal regarding compensation. And they threatened to sue us over that request. Possibly the worst part of the district's proposal is the dangerous impact it could have on Jeffco students and families when essential workers are threatened with backdoor layoffs, and they are constantly underpaid. They can't afford to stay with us. What will happen to social distancing and student safety when there are even less school bus drivers and assistants to drive the kids to school, as well as other employees that work for the district? We already have a big and important job to do as essential workers. We need a fair and respectable financial proposal for the next bargaining session. Jeffco, pay us what we are worth. And one final point, if anyone in their right mind thinks that 24 students on a school bus is not dangerous, then we got a major problem. And lastly, I'll see you, district, at the bargaining table. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Judy Grounds, and I am the facility manager at Evergreen High School in Evergreen, Colorado. I'm also the second vice of JESPA, which is the grievance chair. We've been talking about these issues because of the stories you just heard, and because there are so many more essential workers out there who are experiencing the same things. We have got to work for change now, to protect the middle class in Jeffco and to restore some balance to pay in this district. Your voice matters in this fight. Together we can pressure the Board of Education to direct the district negotiating team to bring a real proposal to bargaining on Thursday. You can click the link in the comments to find our letter to the board and to help essential workers make a difference. If you're not a member of JESPA, join now. You're gonna make a big difference. We're gonna fight for you. There's a link for that in the comments too, and you can ask others to join as well. You're fighting for you, and your participation makes a difference. Please join, and thanks for listening tonight.